Michael is a passionate advocate for his district. Watching him interact with people says it all. Short after the East Palestine train derailment, I went up to the Mahoning Valley and spent the day with Michael. We talked to high school students, teachers, and administrators about their experiences. And at that time, the students were rolling up their sleeves and showing rashes and talking about how sad it is that no other schools will play teams on their fields. Then we toured a business right on the tracks, ground zero. And they talked about their experience, how it's hard to get people to come into work. And when they are open, they had to do short shifts because people felt sick after a few hours of work. And then I saw Michael in Columbus, advocating to help those very people we had talked with, and all the people of East Palestine and the Mahoning Valley. He's never stopped advocating for the people he represents.
Today, my friend, I will say to you unequivocally how much, in spite of all of that and our political differences and wanings, that you are my friend and you have represented this body with integrity. And so, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, I will say to you and say it publicly, we will miss you. I thought about the words of George Herbert Walker Bush. He said this: we are a nation of communities, a bright, diverse spread like stars, like 1,000 points of light in a broad and peaceful sky. He goes on to say, America is never fully and wholly herself unless she is engaged in high moral principle. We as a people have such a purpose today. It is to make kinder the face of the nation and gentler the face of the world. And as I conclude my remarks to you, my friend, as you go on to this next journey of your life, the words of the Reverend Dr. Benjamin Elijah Mays, the mentor to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he said this: I only have a minute, only 60 seconds in it forced upon me, can't refuse it, didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but eternity is in it. Thank you very much, Mr. President. And we will miss you, sir.
What's the best attribute for being a legislator or running for office first? And you really do have to have fire in your belly. I'd like to do the job, but I don't want to work that hard to get it, you're not going to win. And you're especially not going to win when you've never run before. And there's a few folks in this chamber who ran for the first time in a state Senate race beside Michael, but not one that hadn't been held by his party for about 100 years or so. And that was an extraordinary feat. And I think people will look back on your Senate career and have the same conclusion.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. It means the world to me. July 3rd, 1863, for any history fan in here, is the third day of the Battle of Gettysburg. And so I'm an American history fanatic. And there was Colonel Joshua Chamberlain, which anyone that's seen the movie, you know, they call it the extreme left flank of the Union Army. General Lee and Longstreet were trying to smash through our middle. And if they succeed in the largest bombardment of the war, the Union Army collapses. And there's an open road right into Washington, D.C., and then the Republic is dead forever. Joshua Chamberlain was asked to hold the line. The Texans stormed the farthest left with everything they have, and with 435 guys, Joshua Chamberlain held the line. He saved the Republic. The Ohio Senate is the end of the line. what's going on in the country is really so hard to understand. And what happens in that other chamber for the last 10 years is an embarrassment. The Ohio Senate will hold the line. When people say, what does that mean? I ask them to look at the first time with my honorable friend, President Larry Obhoff. And this body right here produced a 33-0 budget. That hadn't been done in almost 40 years. We reached across the aisle to our honorable friends, and they are honorable. You are not the enemy, you are our friends. We held the line. When people were just asking about my natural gas bill, which isn't always so attractive to people on the other side of the aisle, how did you produce a 32-0 vote on that? Because I care about what you say. This speech is not about Mike Rulli. This speech is about the Ohio Senate and the integrity of this chamber. And this chamber must last way after each one of us are laid 6 feet below ground. The well was built at the end of the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln visited here. Then after assassination, he visited again. This is the end of the line. I am so honored to be served by two, shortly becoming three presidents, Larry Obhoff, my most honorable friend, Matt Huffman, and our soon next president, Ron McCauley. What makes these guys different than speakers of the House? Because these guys, and in particular this guy, care about the minority. We're not perfect, we're human beings, we're flawed. I never thought I'd have such a sweet spot for Senator DeMora like I do. The one time I was chairing a committee, and Senator DeMora said, just some crazy stuff in my mind. And I was about to gavel him down. I look over and he's smiling at me just like he is right now. And afterwards, he goes, hey, really, want to go get a beer? And I was like, yeah, let's do that. That's what normal is. And how many times I've worked with Nikki, I'm working with Kent right now. That is beautiful. The Ohio Senate is beautiful. This isn't about me. This is about this chamber. This chamber must carry on when we're all gone. The darkest day of my last 50 years was the day I lost my mom. And a phone call from Vernon Seitz moved me in a direction that I knew that there was a tomorrow and that America's best years and days are yet to come, to quote Ronald Reagan, and it will continue. I don't know what I could say to convince each and every one of you. What the Ohio Senate does is the last line for Ohio. There is not hate in human beings. Luke Bryan said it, most people are good. David Burke is good. My caucus is good. How many times do I hear the caucus say, what do you think? How many places in the country do that? The place I'm going doesn't do that. My family thinks I'm crazy for going there. They say that the Ohio Senate is a bit of heaven right here in Ohio. So without talking too long, because we have a lot of bills we're going to talk about, I want you to all think about something. I love each and every one of you. I will be there for the rest of my life for every one of you. And I want you guys to stick together. The last budget was at 32-1. We're still not doing that bad. But how many chambers throughout this country could say that? How many chambers would call somebody at their darkest hour and lift them up? Words I will never forget. Herschel and Teresa, I can't thank enough for those kind words. But most of all, I am so blessed. Besides having my kids, this has been the highlight of my life to be in the Ohio Senate. And I am going to love this moment for the rest of my life. God bless all of you, and God bless the Ohio Senate.
Thank you, Senator Rulli.